tumultuous, uncertain, and hopefully transformative times. And we have been preparing for these times our whole lives. As we step into gratitude, the first movement of the spiral, we ground ourselves in the abundant and resilient web of life and connect with the loving presence of Spirit. As you watch those walking the labyrinth, if you wish, imagine one of them bringing your prayers, your concerns, and your gratitude to the center. Now let us join our hearts in gratitude for the first peoples of this land, the Ho, the Quileute, Makah, Clallam, and Chimicum tribes, people who for thousands of years lived here in deep and reciprocal relationship with the earth and all of life. Let us join our hearts in gratitude for the mystery of life, exquisitely expressed in the infinite variety of plants, of animals, and of our own human species. Let us join our hearts in gratitude for the mystery of life creatively expressed in the regenerative balance, the fresh air, the clean water, the fertile soil available when we partner with life. Let us join our hearts in gratitude for the stunning beauty and abundance of this land. The Olympic Mountains, the forests, the beaches and ocean, the lakes, rivers, and streams, the meadows, the rich farmland, and our own gardens. Let us join our hearts in gratitude for the rhythms of the seasons, the tides, day and night, and the ebbs and flows of our own life. And for the rhythms of music, dance, art, for the tides of joy, laughter, hope, and love. And let us join our hearts in gratitude for all that has been illuminated this year that leads us to know what is still needed to be understood and grieved and healed and transformed. For those times of loss and fear and anger and exhaustion and tears, and for those people that help us honor and process that pain. And for our children and grandchildren, and for all the young people that give us the strength and the purpose to keep on loving and to keep on doing the work. Let us join our hearts in gratitude for all the millions of beings that have brought us to this day, known and unknown. Our ancestors, our families, our friends, our pets, and all the people who supported them and us. And for our spiritual teachers and mentors. And for all those difficult people and situations who have challenged us and inspired us to dig deep and find the courage to become more of who we are called to be. Let us join our hearts in gratitude for the people and experiences that have expanded our view and helped us to see with new eyes and curiosity. And also to release old beliefs patterns, behaviors that no longer serve us or our community. And let us join our hearts in gratitude for this community, for all of you, for the essential workers, and for the interconnected web of support that we bring to each other. And let us join ourselves in gratitude for the dedication we all bring to living our lives, fueling our going forth with compassionate and creative and action. We do not go alone. And it is with the strength of this heartfelt gratitude that we move into the next movement of the spiral, honoring our pain.
Eli, Eli, shelo yigamer leolam, hakol v'chayam, rishru shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tfilat ha'adam, hakol v'chayam, rishru shel hamayim, barak hashamayim, tfilat ha'adam. O Lord my God, I pray that these things never end. The sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayers of the heart, the sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayers of the heart.
Honoring our pain on Veterans Day, we are reminded of the heavy burden that comes with war loss. Those who have served on the front line of war have witnessed untold suffering from their time on tour and duty. These untold stories often carry war's destructive ripple effect into our civilian lives. Across our great planet, war and peace are markers in time that shape the history of our humankind. War gives rise to activism and communities that work towards peace. We honor the brave leaders who stand nonviolently for peace, alongside the warriors who fought in battles for a greater good, and refugees who flee their war-torn countries for a safe harbor, safe home. We live in a time of great distress among our people. There is systemic racism, economic insecurity, climate catastrophe, inequity of adequate health care, and now a global pandemic. The meaning we give to our emotional responses to these times is of critical importance. The growing acceptance of our interconnectedness, found in Gaia theory, Buddhism, systems thinking, and especially the indigenous spiritual traditions, call on us to bring forward our distress and give voice to what we mourn. Our grief may never end, but it offers us a passage. Grief is not a weakness or lack of faith. It is the price of love. I return often to the poem by Ishi, the last surviving member of the native tribe of the Yahi people, for its deep wisdom and high value in sharing our grief. Ishi. There are all manners of hurts, such that one small mind cannot know them, and one small heart cannot carry the heaviness. But many minds and many hearts, they can hold such hurts until the one mind and one heart be ready. This past year, we came together to share in reading Act of Hope by Joanna Macy and Chris Johnstone. Midway through the book, the pandemic reached our shores, which brought both danger and a gift of time, forcing us to slow down, focus on what is most important to each of us. Drawing on the second movement of the spiral, honoring our pain, we invite you to bring forth in the chat section what is heavy in your heart, what you experience as being lost in our world that you mourn for, a name for a loved one. A stone will be placed for each naming on the cairn of mourning, which is held in a cedar-lined sacred forest.
As we commemorate Veterans Day, we honor the pain, suffering, sacrifice, and loss felt by all the people in this country who have been impacted by the country's historic wars, as well as the more recent and incredible challenges of 2020. Pain can be divisive. Our own reactivity can deepen conflict and intensify the schisms between us. Pain can also be isolating, leading us to feel estranged and alien. My dear mentor Bill Bowen used to say that the greatest suffering we know is the delusion of separateness. It's as if we take our pain and hunker down with it, alone, in a bomb shelter. But pain and suffering can also bring us together. Like so many spiritual traditions, Buddhism seeks to understand the causes of our suffering and to offer ways to heal from it. Buddhism teaches us that compassion for our pain is both a fierce and a deeply receptive force that can remind us of our ultimate interconnection. Buddhist teachings speak to the resonant quality of the human heart. Compassion is a little like this. Our hearts quiver. My heart quivers with your heart. I understand your pain because I feel pain too. In the Mahayana tradition of Buddhism, Kuan Yin is an incredibly enlightened being and the bodhisattva of great compassion who listens at ease to the sounds of the world. When we chant her name, we invoke her fierce compassion to heal the fires of our collective heart. With a little help from my wonderful teachers, Kittasaro and Tanisra of Sacred Mountain Sangha in Northern California, I will attempt to offer this mantra. It comes from the Chinese Mahayana tradition of Master Hua.
Na
come now to the third movement in the spiral, seeing with new eyes. The literal translation of the Greek word apocalypse is revelation, the tearing away of the veil that hides a deeper truth. 2020 has been a year of apocalypse. COVID revealed to us that while we seem separated, we share the same air, the same breath. The killing of George Floyd revealed the racism that lives on in our culture, a cancer we may have thought in remission. The fires in California, Oregon, and our own state of Washington, even on Lake Crescent, revealed that climate change is not a problem of the future, but even now threatens the lands that we love. And many of us have also experienced personal apocalypse, the loss of loved ones in death, an existential threat to our own lives through serious illness, or the loss of a job. Even the loss of beloved annual events, such as the Wandafuka Festival and Crab Fest. We are confronted with our mortality, our vulnerability, our assumptions about the shape of our communal lives. A year of apocalypse. But revelation is also opportunity. In their book, Transforming Our Painful Emotions, Evelyn Eaton Whitehead and James D. Whitehead tell us that painful feelings make us miserable, but they often come bearing gifts. A negative emotions gift sometimes comes in the self-examination it provokes. Emotional distress challenges familiar patterns. Something is not right. Our regular ways of thinking and acting no longer work. Troubled and confused, we review our expectations, re-examine our values, raise questions about how our life is going. Our reflection carries the seeds of significant transformation. Both personal and social change start here. We see with new eyes, and in seeing, we have the chance to make meaning of both our gratitude and our pain. It's not always easy, and we might want to pull the veil back up, to retreat into business as usual, the comforting habits and unconscious assumptions that have brought us to where we are. It takes courage and hope, and a willingness to live in liminal space, that time between recognizing truth and allowing it to change our lives. And in that space, there arise new hopes and dreams for the future, new meaning built into the revelation of our past and present. As we hang our desires and our new visions on Indra's net, let us keep enough stillness in our hearts that we may recognize a new reality as a world we long for, in which all life can flourish. If you have additional prayers, please type them into the chat and they will be placed on the net later. This poem by T.J. O'Gorman expresses the power of our expectancy. Face to face with our limits, blinking before the frightful stare of our frailty, promise rises, like a posse of clever maids who do not fear the dark, because their readiness lights the search. Their oil becomes the measure of their love, their ability to wait, an indication of their capacity to trust and take a chance. Without the caution or predictability of knowing day or hour, they fall back on that only of which they can be sure. Love precedes them. Before it, no door will ever close.
A prayer from the Baha'i Holy Writings. O thou compassionate Lord, thou who art generous and able, we are servants of thine, sheltered beneath thy providence. Cast thy glance of favor upon us. Give light to our eyes, hearing to our ears, and understanding and love to our hearts. Render our souls joyous and happy through thy glad tidings. O Lord, point out to us the pathway of thy kingdom, and resuscitate all of us through the breaths of the Holy Spirit. Bestow upon us life everlasting, and confer upon us never-ending honor. Unify mankind, and illumine the world of humanity. May we all follow thy pathway, long for thy good pleasure, and seek the mysteries of thy kingdom. O God, unite us and connect our hearts with thy indissoluble bond. Verily thou art the giver, thou art the kind one, and thou art the Almighty.
This is a quote from Baha'u'llah. Consort with the followers of all religions in a spirit of friendliness and fellowship. They that are endued with sincerity and faithfulness should associate with all the peoples and kindreds of the earth with joy and radiance, inasmuch as consorting with people hath promoted and will continue to promote unity and concord, which in turn are conducive to the maintenance of order in the world and to the regeneration of nations. Blessed are such as hold fast to the cord of kindliness and tender mercy and are free from animosity and hatred.
Having felt our gratitude, honored our pain, and opened to seeing with new eyes, we go forth. What is ours to do? To be. We may not know the answer to this as quickly as our minds and hearts would wish. We stand on this precipice of the unknown. Remember the story of the mama and the baby eagle? The baby says, "But what if I fall?" And the mama replies, "Oh, my dear, but what if you fly?" For many of us, it will be a time of leaping with open and perhaps quavering hearts into radical trust that this time of unraveling will burst forth with wings. Trust that when our efforts at times seem in vain, that the results of our actions, the way we live into a new way of being, will actually lead to the more beautiful world our hearts know is possible. What can we ask of ourselves now? We can invite ourselves to open to the unknown, to remember the power of a smile, to stand our heart ground as we plant the seeds of peace and change. We can listen to ourselves, to each other, moment to moment, to our inner voice, as our loving kindness prompts our giving.
This Time by Azima Lila Forrest. We are in the time of fire, we are in the time of flood. We are in the time of thunder and lightning. We are in the time of plague. We're in the time of earth wounding and earth healing. We're in the time of climate shifting. We're in the time of encountering the shadow. We're in the time of beginning to see the light. We came here for this. We came to be part of it. We can do this. We have all that we need. We have mighty unseen allies. They can help us if we ask. To take our part, we must heal ourselves. We must know ourselves. We must love ourselves. We must be bestowers of blessings. Powerful energies of love, harmony, and beauty are pouring through us into our world, through our arms, our legs, through our hands and feet, and most of all through our loving hearts. Through our loving hearts, our world is transformed. And from Saint Teresa of Calcutta. People are often unreasonable, irrational, self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives.
Be kind anyway. If you are successful, you may win some unfaithful friends and some genuine enemies. Be successful. Succeed anyway. If you are honest and sincere, people may deceive you. Be honest and sincere anyway. What you spend years creating, others could destroy overnight. Create anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, some may be jealous, may be happy. You be happy anyway. The good you do today will often be forgotten. Do good anyway. Give the best you have, and it may never be enough. Give your best anyway. In the final analysis, it's between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway. And as a final blessing, a blessing of my version of the loving kindness prayer. Peace in all hearts, in all beings everywhere. May all beings truly find peace in knowing that our hearts are dancing together. Dancing together in silence, in chaos, in sorrow, and in joy. We know one another as we know our own